What's up, guys? I got 26th at the San Diego Regional Championships with Regigigas, a deck that I brought back from Arlington, where I got 13th out of about 850 people this weekend at 26th. So let's talk about the list I played and why I played Reggie's again. So Reggie's was really good meta call for Arlington, I felt like, because people were not playing Dunsparce or Manaphy in a lot of lists, and there was not a lot of respect for it. So I felt like, hey, this is the time to do it. Maybe I'll catch people off guard. And I did. I think it was a great meta call. Now, moving forward, it was on the radar. There was a lot of Reggies that did well. But why did I play it again, fully well knowing that I'm walking into a hostile environment? Well, on about Wednesday of this week, or Thursday this week, Isaiah messaged me saying, hey, Cape of Toughness is a technology that wins mirror match. It wins blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I need other scenarios than just Cape of Toughness wins mirror, wins this one scenario. And then I thought about it a little bit more. I'm like, okay, so Cape lets you still do infinite looping against Ice Q. With the raw with net, you can go Cape Broad, Cape Broad, Cape Broad over and again, like not sorry over again, and you one of them decks first, or you infinitely tie with electromagnetic sonar. Then you have against Lugia, if you attack in with a Regice and they commit powerfuls to knock it out with an Archeops, and if two powerfuls are gone at any point, your second Regice, if you attack into a Lugia that's got a good board, you can cape it so they cannot kill you with an Archeops and they have to commit to something else, burning more energies than they'd like to, because they need three powerfuls at that point to knock out a 180 HP Pokemon guy. And you can powerful a Gigas also, or like cape a Gigas, and then Archeops can't one-shot it ever. Yeah. And so there's a couple other scenarios where it came in clutch, and so I just felt like, okay, this cape is really reliable. We started at 2 and kind of tested, and we were like, okay, let's cut a cape. We don't need 2, and so that's where everyone's 60th card was a little bit different because we kind of scrambled at the 8 p.m. submission line. The options were a boss, a shoes, a lotto, and that's kind of where the split came down. I wanted to, I think, do lotto, but I didn't feel comfortable enough with like not much testing with it, so I just went with the 4th shoes. Me, Bach, and Kian went with 4 shoes, and then Isaiah went with the lotto, and then Sam and Patrick went with the boss because, well, Sam wanted to switch, but he didn't have enough time, and his airplane Wi-Fi lied because he was flying when the deckless submission was happening. So that was unfortunate for Sam. But crazy statistic before I jump into my tournament report. Every single one of our Reggie group, all 6 of us, there were 6 of us who played it, like 6 Reggies, and all 6 of us day 2'd, which is awesome. That's an incredible like accomplishment. It just never happens. Usually somebody gets absolutely dogged. So yeah, and I also want to say thank you to a lot of the people that came up this weekend. This is probably the first regional in a long time where I had so many people come up and like ask for autographs, pictures, talk to me about their experience and how like I got them into competitive, and that's like my whole goal with content, right? I want to share my journey with you guys, and I want to hear about your journeys and hopefully inspire you to start your own, because who knows how long I'll be playing, and so I want you guys to come into the game and make your own legacy, make your own your story. So that's thank you, just thank you. So I'll jump into my tournament. So round 1, I start up against Peter Wallace, who is playing Fusion Mew with Lost City. Game 1, Peter sets up pretty well. Gets a turn 2 knockout on one of my Reggies with a Meloetta and a Lost City. And I think it was an Ice. And then I have to bench another Ice to actually attack and kill the Meloetta. And I go ahead and Marnie or Research or something. I just need to find a net to put the Ice back in my hand, because I know if they play 1 city, they probably play 2. And at that point, I need to just preserve the Ice so I can keep attacking, like chaining attacks. And I do not find the net, and Peter finds the boss and gets the Ice, and then I'm able to take out. I think I like hit into the Mew, and I like Marnie Path. And the Path works for like all of 1 turn, and then I lose. So yeah, and then game 2. It's a similar situation where like Peter gets a turn 1 knockout with Meloetta Lost City on one of my Reggies, like a miscellaneous one, but I'm able to keep netting it back up and like play a little bit of the game. But like there's just this inevitability that I can't close it out because of the cities, and then the 3rd Lost City really did it for me. Like it was a side lead into a 3rd Lost City, and that's kind of what was my doing. So was a bad matchup, terrible matchup off the bat. Me with Lost Cities and Fusion, especially, so I lost that. We went up against Corey next, who was playing Lugia, I believe. Lugia is just a really, really good matchup for me. I'm just able to set up and kind of just run through the Lugia player. Nothing crazy here. Went up against Jeremy in round 3. Don't really remember what Jeremy was playing. Um, oh, it was Mew. Jeremy was playing Mew with Lost Cities as well. Jeremy did show up late to the round by like about a minute, which I felt terrible about for Jeremy. Game one was like a drawn out like 20-ish minute game one that I ended up winning. Um, Game two, Jeremy won in about 20 minutes as well, so there's about 10 minutes on the clock, and I know I'm going to win if time gets called, so I'm in no rush, but I wanted to still have a respectful game, and I told him that. I was like, let's just play and see what happens. In game three, I set up like super perfectly, and Jeremy had like a terrible, terrible, terrible start. I think it was like a cram tails to start the game into like a Genesect, like Oricorio pass type of deal. So I just set up perfectly by like turn three. It had a path in play as well, so he can draw any cards at all, and I won the game. So went to 2-1, going into lunch break, came back, played against Jen, and then they were playing Lugia as well. And Lugia, I think they didn't have Dunsparce or Manaphy, so it just felt super easy to just kind of run through the matchup when you can just go LAKEY and stuff like that. So I was able to go to 3-1 after that one, and then up against Kenny. I believe they went by Kenny when we played. Super fun opponent. I had a lot of fun talking to them. They were playing Rayquaza, Lawson Ray. As soon as you see the grass and the fighting, you kind of get an inkling of what you're going up against. And I think they had a lot of really tough decisions early with flower selectings and choruses, because like a lot of energy hit the Lawson, which is like something you don't really want to happen super frequently with this deck. And like both games, they just kind of ran out of resources before like their third prize was even taken, and when they're playing Raikou and Ray, it's just such heavy investments into both these attackers because Cramorant doesn't do anything in the matchup. So yeah, I'm able to take that one and go to 4-1. Then I go up against Robert, who is playing Regigigas, and so we're playing a mirror match. Robert does get the first knockout in game one, and we're going back and forth, and I put the cape down, and that's it, lights out. I win because they have no answer to the technology, and so I'm able to take out Robert with the cape. And then game two, I think they just bricked a little bit, and I got like 2 attacks off before they did anything, and I was able to take it, which is super fortunate. Round 7, I hit Justin, so now I'm in a win-in situation. I win. I'm locked in at 6-1, whatever. And Justin's playing Mew, DTE Mew with cities as well, and so I end up winning game one pretty convincingly. Game two is like super bricky on my part, and I just lose. And then game three, I path stick Justin super early. Like my turn when I path stick, like the fourth path is just so good because you can just go path, play your turn, go, and then Justin did nothing. And then I was like, okay, set up my board slowly, go, and then Justin did nothing, and then I was like, okay, attack. Like I was just able to go in at that point. Like it didn't matter, and like Justin started like bossing or like trying to bring up things to stall, and it didn't matter because I could just it didn't matter what he brought up, I would just attack with it. I just was like, whatever, like brought up steel, attack with steel, brought up rock, I'll attack with the rock, like it's fine. So now I'm 6-1. I'm advancing into day two for sure. Let's put up some more match points on the board. And I've got into the day two, the last two, with a little bit more match points than 6-1 or 6-2-1, which is a great advantage. And I go up against Riley, and Riley's been on a tear recently. He's been like coming off a top 8 in Arlington, I believe, and good finishes in Peoria on regionals like that. So Riley's a force to be reckoned with. A lot of fun to talk to Riley. I love the guy. Game one, I like heavy ball, and there was like 3 colored energy prized. I was like 2 Aurora and like speed, I believe. And I was like, that explains why it's like turn 3 and I haven't found these cards. And at this point, I was like already so far behind. And I think I looked at like my 7 cards, and I was like, I don't have an attack here either. So I conceded. And then game 2 was also another weird set of games where Riley didn't do anything but set up a Lugia and beat me without getting an Archeops out because I just kept researching, trying to find energies. And by the time I got my first attack off, I had like 2 cards left in deck. So I lost, which is crazy. That's never happened, but super unlucky set of games against Riley. I dropped 6-2. Round 9, I go up against Alex Green. I can tell I'm not playing the best. I think I played a little bit worse against Riley than I usually do, and so I just offered the ID. And so Alex and I take the ID to move into day 2. I think it's fine because it's a little bit of a smaller regionals, meaning the 34 match pointers will make it. So you can go 5-1 and feel comfortable. As a what am I trying to say? As a 19 match pointer coming in. There we go. So yeah, going to day 2. And I'm also fighting for Travel Award, mind you guys. Like on the back of my mind, I also have the Travel Award for Europe, which is a big deal. So yeah, round 10 to go up against Derek. Derek's a great friend of mine. Awesome dude. The Dialga guy, before Sander was the Dialga guy, it was Derek. And so I knew in the back of my mind, he's probably playing something wacky as fuck. And this man rolls up with Dialga. And game 1, I'm able to take it. I think I cheese it. I don't even know how, honestly. I cheese a game off of Derek. And then game 2, he beats me up. and then game 3 he beats me out. And the matchup is terrible. Dialga is such a bad matchup for Regis. Not a deck I expected to see, but Derek got me. Congratulations to Derek for going as deep as he did with Dialga. I thought he would make top 8. He looked like he was doing phenomenally, and things just did not go his way towards the last couple rounds. So round 11 I go against Ryan, who's playing Weezing. Now that is a bad matchup for me, but it's Weezing E-turn. So game 1, Ryan sets up. I manually power up like a rock or something and take a prize on a Weezing. He gets me, and then my path is sticking, by the way, the whole time, so Sneasel is doing nothing. And then I power up a Gigas. I take a prize. He poisons me. I take a prize. He throws up his final Weezing, and then I put the cape on, and I knock him out. Yeah, 40, 40, 40. Yes, yeah. So now my Gigas got that extra hit in, or I put the cape on at some point, and he was like, I think that'll do it, and he scoops. And then game 2, he opens the Eternatus, which means that at some point I can Serenite up, and so he goes ahead and Crobats and sets up. I like manually power up a guy and knock out the Weezing, and then he says, I have no other play, and he throws up the Eternatus VMAX, bosses something, and takes a knockout, and then I go in with the rock, take my 3 prizes, and then there's a Crobat on the board and like Weezing, and yes, my rock can't attack next turn, but I can just wait 2 turns, and then yeah, I'm able to take that. Awesome playing against Ryan. Congratulations on your first day too. It's awesome. Round 12 playing against Zach Lesage. Zach's playing Arc Duraludon with Lost Cities, which is scary for me. Game 1, all 3 games Zach got like a mustard as soon as possible, like on his first supporter turn, which is I think really cool. Because like I love like Archies and mustard style effects. Game 1, I set up pretty perfectly and I'm able to take Zach out. Game 2, I'm like stumbling a little bit towards the end of the game, and that's kind of where Zach capitalizes on winning the game. Yeah, and Zach is able to capitalize on me stumbling a little bit, and I believe we go into game 3. I get to go first finally, and Zach gets the turn 1 mustard, but then he gets nothing really past that. So like I take out the Arceus with 2 LAKEY attacks. I'm pretty sure actually, not even like a real like rock attack. I like LAKEY, and then he like throws up the Duraludon VMAX. He attacks into me. I one shot the Duraludon VMAX, and then he's like, it's like a pass like, and just the game ends. Like so, it was fun playing against Zach. Yeah, the mustard was cool. Besides that, yeah. Round 13 was going to Nathan. Nathan also top 16 Arlington, I believe, with Regis. So he's my brother in Regis. And so Nathan, it was a lot of fun playing against him. He's playing Regimir. We're playing Regimir. Game 1, we're both not missing a beat. It's going. And I go, okay, this is my turn. I go cape, knockout, and then Nathan does his turn, and he goes vacuum, knockout. And I was like, aha, I've been got. And so he got me game 1. And then game 2, I'm looking for a way to get to Gigas after he takes a knockout so I can keep the trade going, because like I know that I took the first knockout, so if that happens, I should win the trade. I just need to put a Gigas into play, and I missed a capture, I missed a quick ball, I missed an ultra ball, I missed the Gigas, like I miss everything, and so I missed for a turn, and then the trade continues, and the same situation happens at the end of the game where I once again cape, and Nathan once again goes vacuum to win the game, and he tells me that like the vacuum was like one of his like last 3 prizes or something, and he had to pull it. So no, it is what it is. I got out technologied, but a lot of fun playing against Nathan. Congratulations on your top 32 finish as well. So round 14, I go up against Alex, the person I ID the day before, and they're playing Lugia, and both games was just like really rough for Alex. Like game 2, they priced Pumpkaboo, I'm pretty sure, and then in game 1, it was just like 12 energies were gone by like turn 3 or 4. So a rough set of Lugia games. Round 15 was Nathan. Nathan's also a really good friend of mine. They were playing Lawson. Rayquaza. Game 1, they actually had a pretty sick play. Game 1, they go ahead and like commit a lot of energy to a Raikou. A bunch of stuff happens, and then they go down to 1 prize by taking using an amazing burst with Rayquaza, and they bench the Raikou. And I'm sitting there like and then I have 2 prizes, so I have to take the Raikou out to win. And so I like count everything really methodically, because Lost Box like basically shows their entire hand at all times. And I'm like, they're out of gates. They're out of all these. They have 1 rod left. Like, or no, maybe rods were gone too. Like, I'm like, I think the only play they have to win the game is Raihan. So I just I rod Battle Lucky back into the deck, Ultra Ball my hand away, get the Battle Lucky, retreat, and put the rod back into my hand with the Radar. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start with this play, make sure that I don't deck in the upcoming turns, and then if they don't display that they can retreat or move their guy, I'm just going to continue to put cards into my hand and deck that. Effectively, because I don't need to play the game this way. Like, I don't need to take a prize here, or I can just like pick up Serena next turn, which is what I did. And then the next game, we just traded prizes back and forth, but I was like always ahead in the prize trade. So I just ended up winning the set. And I advanced to 31 match points, putting me into the top 32. So it's been 16, 16, 32 in 3 regionals in a row, which is honestly awesome. I didn't expect this level of success with a deck like this, honestly. But I don't know what's next for me. I'll be in Liverpool, so we'll see where that takes me. But thank you all for the support, as always. I want to keep this short and sweet. And I literally got home like 15 minutes ago, so I'm going to go sleep. But thanks, guys.